Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to tonight's evening Man United news roundup. Not going to be a very happy show to start things off, but that's okay. We do have some injury news. I have some transfer news as well, but we're going to get into some other things to start things off. So hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Sorry if my eyebrows are a little wet. I just made a spicy ass ramen bowl for myself for dinner, and it was hot. Pretty sure my core temperature rose a few degrees eating that. I don't know why I waste so much money on like Flonase and stuff. I just eat some of that ramen, and my sinuses are clear. So let's get stuck in. We're going to talk transfer news. We're going to talk some youngsters that we're looking at. We're going to talk Jadon Sancho, but we are first going to have a very not happy conversation about Mason Mount. So let's get stuck in. Welcome back, Danny. Good to see you, my friend. Jumping in the chat already. We're going to get there. You're jumping ahead, bud. We're going to get there. Don't you worry. We got to get the frustrating stuff out of the way first. We got to get the just want to make you punch people in the face news out of the way first. So let's get that out of the way. Mason Mount is, I guess, in fact, injured again. Apparently, he picked that up against Brighton. Remember, he went off at halftime. I was a bit skeptical because I didn't notice there was anything going on. Like, he'd already played against Fulham. He'd played Community Shield. He was playing, and he was getting in. He was getting stuck in. He was pressing. He was getting involved. But took him off at halftime. Xerxes came on. So the club put out a statement today. Mason Mount himself today put out a statement and commented on the development. So let's check what United had to say first. Manchester United midfielder Mason Mount has suffered a minor injury setback that is due to keep him out of action for a few games. The club made a point to remind us that Mount has started 3 matches in a row. So what? So what? We're already dancing in Rafael Varane territory now with Mason Mount and like Luke Shaw territory. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Shaw and Varane, but when you can't be relied upon for the amount of games that we're going to have to play at this level, you're a Premier League football. You're not some little like someone like me who hasn't played competitively for a while, right? Like, who's going to pick up an injury if they just go grab the mail from the mailbox walking to the end of the road. Like, this, you're a professional footballer. If starting 3 matches and really only 2 were competitive is too much for Mason Mount, then he's going to need to either retire or go play in the Saudi league, which, I mean, basically is the same thing as retiring, because that's not acceptable. You can't sit here and try to manage and rotate and navigate fixture congestion and planning for opponents, and with also in the back of your mind having to think, oh, how many games has Mount played? Oh, he's already played 2. We probably can't use him this week. You can't do that. That's just ridiculous. So I'm frustrated, if you can't tell. It's super frustrating. I'm not happy about this. Mount had a little comment to make as well. He said to the fans, during the last game, I picked up a minor muscle issue. I've had it checked, and it looks like I will be out for a few games. Leading up to and during preseason, I worked hard to get my fitness back to where it needs to be, and I felt re-energized, sharp, and ready. I wanted you to hear it directly from me. How frustrated I am, as I expect you are too. A little bit, yeah. He said, I will do everything possible to be back in the best shape and help the team. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm annoyed. What are your guys' thoughts on this latest injury? It just does not. I think I'm probably more frustrated and annoyed by the fact that this literally like 2 days before the transfer window closes. We've been playing this 4-2-4 without the ball. Mount's been a pretty integral part of Tenhag's system, and now all of a sudden, yet again, just like last summer, we're entering the final moments of the summer window, and we have to plan to replace somebody who we weren't planning to replace again. Like, this, just literally, when it rains, it pours with this club with injuries, man. I'm telling you. We spent a lot of money on Mason Mount. We prioritized bringing him to the club last summer when we really needed to prioritize a center back last year. Did nobody at the club look up his injury history before we bought him? Like, did no one think to do that. I mean, it's literally online. It's free. Transfermarket.com. You can find the injury history of all the players. You see how many games they missed, how many days they missed. You can see everything, the nature of the injury, all of it. And it's like, it's just ridiculous. It's not the number of the injuries that's bugging me with Mason Mount, because if you look at his Chelsea history, it wasn't like he picked up a lot of injuries. It wasn't like he missed a lot of games, a lot of days. It's the nature, not the number. It's the nature of these injuries. Hamstrings, ankles, left and right. He didn't miss a lot. It's just he's been a sick note since he signed for us. He missed 27 matches last season, which is not a good look. And again, he just can't be counted on. Danny says, we pissed some amount of cash on Guff signings the last decade. It's a joke at this stage, Sean. Usman, welcome back, bud. Says, yes, it's quite late right now. Yeah, this is not a problem we needed right now, considering our transfer business is pretty much wrapped up. We needed to sell Scott McTominay just to get money for Ugarte. And now we've got to maybe think about looking at Mount. Do you think we can last a month or so, 4 or 5 weeks without Mason Mount? We know Tenhag is a stickler for fitness too. So you take the time off for the injury, then the normal maybe recovery time, and then you've got the Tenhag time tax on we'll add another month to that, just in case kind of thing. I was looking at 2.5 months out. I'm trying not to fly off the handle right now, but it's really getting frustrating. Danny says, Chukwuemeka, tried to get him. He's not wanted at Chelsea. Yeah, he was one we mentioned earlier. Chelsea wants Sancho. I don't really want Sterling. Supposedly, we've been talking about Sterling, but we have some demands, low wages, squad role. We've mentioned Chukwuemeka. I've mentioned Casete as well, a couple of midfielders, because we do need midfield depth. And I think that Chukwuemeka could be a good pickup. There's a couple different options out there, but it's getting to be ridiculous. I know I'm probably being a little bit harsh, because again, it's not Mason Mount's fault. It's not Raphael Varane's fault. It's not Phil Jones' fault. It's not Luke Shaw's fault. It's not Anthony Martial's fault that injuries happen. Now, I will say, and former players and pundits and coaches, whoever, have also kind of said this too. There are times when players, they feel a little, nobody plays 100% fit. Any former player is going to tell you that. There are times, though, especially in the modern game, where these players can probably play, but they choose not to. And I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm taking it all and adding it to context here, all the variables, everything that's going on. And this is why I'm frustrated. I got to keep the same energy for Mount as I have for Shaw, though. Like I've said, I've talked many, many times. Months ago, heading into this transfer, we needed a left back first. We can't rely on Shaw. He's never fit. He's been fit 50% of the times he's been here for United. Malacia, we can't rely on right now. Mount is getting to be the same way. Again, missed almost 30 matches last season from this calf and his hamstring stuff. The similar hamstrings that he had to deal with at Chelsea. Not as severely, but as prevalently. Funny thing is, though, when it comes to Mount, and this is where I'm starting, I'm going to start to sound harsh and maybe even a little out there, but I don't even count this as a major blow. Again, hear me out, because he's barely played for us. He missed, again, 27 games last season, and that's 1 year since he joined us. He's missed 27 games. So it's not like when Leach picked up his injury and Leach was playing, he was effective, he was impactful, and then we lost him and everything fell apart at the back. This isn't like that. This is more like when Arsenal signed Jurrien Timber last summer, and he tore his ACL in preseason, and then he missed all of Arsenal's season. Yes, it sucks, but Jurrien Timber never played for Arsenal at that point, so it wasn't like they were really missing him, if you guys get where I'm coming from. He never played for them, so they were kind of right back where they started before they got him. This feels like this is the same with Mount. He's not played for us enough for me to really feel like him being injured is taking away from us. Where it's taking away for us is the fact that we just sold Scott McTominay, and we were set to have some midfield depth, and it clearly Mount was playing a part in that, and now he can't be in the plans to start the season. We've got a huge match coming up at the weekend. We've got Spurs coming up soon, Villa coming up soon. We can't just scramble last minute to get a crap replacement in. It's ridiculous. We need a midfielder now, in any case, more than ever. Danny says 15 million Chuck will be nice. Yeah, I think at this point, you might. But see, now it's just one of those things where does this kind of put us in a weaker position bargaining wise when we're trying to get somebody in? Well, we need a midfielder now, similar to Luke Shaw. It's starting to feel like we can't depend on Mason Mount. And this was all going to kind of be a part of a bigger video in the future, kind of like the Shaw video and the Rashford video. But I thought, you know what, let's just talk about it now. We can't depend on Mount to be fit and available. In my opinion, he's fighting for a spot. Screw the number 7 shirt, screw what we paid. He's fighting for a spot in the squad. And I mean, I'm not alone in thinking that. And we're talking about replacements. Yes. If Chelsea want Jadon Sancho, let's see if we can get Chukwuemeka in here. Rabiot is still out there for free. Danny Ceballos is apparently available for roughly £8 million. I was talking to my buddy Justin now. He's a big Madrid fan. He'll be here this weekend as well to talk about United. Danny Ceballos is not a bad player. Danny Ceballos is a very good midfielder. He was one of Madrid's better midfielders last season. He's played a key role. If you check all of his progressive number, his passing, his shot, his chance creation, his ball progression, all of it, like top 80th, 90 percentile is. James Ward-Prowse is not in Julian Lopetegui's plans right now and could be available. I know Forrest would look at him too, but James Ward-Prowse, another one who could come in for super cheap right now as well. Let me know if you guys have options. Sounds like Danny B and I are kind of on the same page with Chukwuemeka right now. If there's a deal to be done with Chelsea for Sancho, that could be a good one. Danny says, I'm done with the overcooked mercenaries. Rather pay Collier and invest in a younger player. Yeah. Is Dangor fit? Let me know. Rajat De Jong. No, thank you to De Jong. De Jong is literally like, that's literally like replacing Shaw with Chilwell. Like, we can't replace Mount with De Jong. De Jong is never fit. He's injured right now still, and his recovery is not going well from what I read earlier. De Jong had his chance. I get why a big part of why he stayed. He was owed a lot of money, but what hasn't helped De Jong, in my opinion, because I love Frankie De Jong, a prime Frankie De Jong from like 2-3 years ago, one of the best midfielders I've ever seen. But his ankles are made of glass now. He just can't hang. And so De Jong, it is what it is. You lived the Dutch dream. You went to Barcelona, but you missed your boat. And I'm sorry, but you probably would have been injured too had you come to United, knowing like our doctors, our physios. It's just the way it is. So in any case, Mount is out of the picture in my eyes. He's a non-entity. We can't rely on him as part of the squad right now. Xerxes has to, has to start this weekend and for the foreseeable future, even if it means Tenhag can't play the exact way he wants to play, even if it means he can't really implement that 4-2-4 system the way he wants to. I like the way we've been pressing in that system. I've talked about it many, many times. You guys have been here for that. Like I said, Mount has been a big part of that, but he's injured, can't be relied upon. And I've also pointed out that this new system, this new way we're playing, we're also not getting the best out of Bruno and out of Kobbie Mainoo. If you look at where Kobbie Mainoo's touches are coming in, the differences in the way he's been playing compared to last season, he is sitting a little deeper. He's not getting as involved. He's having to make more tackles, but we're also losing what we get from Kobbie in that sense. The same with Bruno. Playing Bruno up top, we're missing a lot of what Bruno offers, and we can't keep doing that. If Mount can't find a way to take care of himself and stay fit, and when he is fit, if he can't find a way to offer a little more on the pitch, I can easily see him at West Ham, Forest, etc. in a year or two if he can't make it work here. Like, that's just the way it is. I can see that happening, and right now, just give that number 7 shirt to Garnacho, and let's just call it a day. Okay. What do you guys got going on here? Rajat, do Man United need attackers? To be honest, not sure they do. We can always improve on what we have. It's just a matter of, is that the priority? You can always improve on what you have if you've got the funds and the players available. But I think we needed floor raisers this summer. We needed to clear the dead weight first. We needed some floor raisers. We needed some quality in that depth, some good rotation options. Danny says, we got Kone now, get Naipan, best-in-class prospects in their position in the world. Yeah, you had started off the super chat with that. We're going to get to Naipan in a little bit here. I'm still ranting on Mount right now. I'm going to get a drink of water. So yeah, give the number 7 to Garnacho for all I care. We can't have a number 7 who's not playing for a year and a half, pretty much. Like, it's not going to work for me. In any case, let me know what you guys think. We should get replacement. Now, Danny is big on promoting some of the youth. I know we've got Collier. I think Collier I see more as the McTominay kind of replacement personally. We need someone who can come in for like Mount. Again, Rabiot can do that job. He presses very, very well. Ceballos is really good at contributing to the attack as well. James Ward-Prowse could help us maybe on these set-piece deliveries. I really don't like Bruno's set-piece delivery. I've said it for many, many, many months now. Bruno's corners are shit. I just don't like them. He has a good free kick on him. You can put that free kick in there in the spot for Casemiro, but his corners are shit. So I do think we can improve on that. But Ward-Prowse, let you guys know what you're saying. One midfielder, though, who I think we can cross off our list of potential replacements, though, despite the poll I put out earlier, is Sofian Amrabat. Things moved quickly today with Sofian Amrabat, and we just got a here we go from Romano shortly before I went live, that a loan to Fenerbahce with an obligation to buy is pretty much wrapped up for Sofian Amrabat. So he's going to go join Jose Mourinho in Turkey. Could Victor Lindelof be on his way? Who knows? Danny B says, keep an eye out for Finn McAllister, young DMCM, and Jack Fletcher. Yeah, Jack Fletcher looks very, 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 very good. He came on as a sub last week in that match. Who was that? Was that Barnsley that they played? And scored a couple, including that nice half volley from pretty far out, too, that went right in the back of the net. So Fletcher looks very, very good. He could definitely, I think in a year or two, he could definitely be that kind of Mount replacement. But right now, I think we need somebody, and there are options that wouldn't break the bank, but we'll see. The Chukwuemeka thing looks pretty doable, in my opinion, as far as Sancho is concerned. I just don't want to help Chelsea. They made their bed. They've spent all this money. They're struggling financially. They might not even be allowed to use the selling assets that they have in the last year or so for their financial issues, according to maybe UEFA, this case that's going on right now. They could be facing a ban. I don't want to help Chelsea. I don't want to help them out. I don't want to clear any wages. This is why I don't want Sterling. Getting Sterling away from Chelsea would be a big help to them. I don't want to do that. And so call it kind of petty if you want. I don't care. Call it tribalism. I really don't care. I don't want to help Chelsea. Rajat says, no, not any Irish players. Sorry, I don't rate them. No, not Irish. But you don't rate Evan Ferguson? Danny says, Sancho definitely worked better than Rashford if he stays, Rashford. He brings quality and possession. I think, yeah, Rashford and Sancho are very different types of wide players. You know, I've said before, I kind of look at my wide players as your face inward players and your face forward players. And Rashford, like your Dan James, these are your face forward. They're going to look for space, and they're going to push to that byline. Sancho, Anthony, they're your face inward. They're going to get the ball, and they're going to turn inward a little bit. They're going to be able to work. They're going to be able to stop. Rashford is like playing Crash Bandicoot. It's just always forward settings, right? He's like when you ever played Sonic the Hedgehog on your Sega, and you get to that special stage, and you're down that little tunnel, and you're just always moving forward. That's Rashford. When Rashford has to stop and slow down, it's like when I try to take the stairs like one at a time. Like I'm used to taking them two at a time. When I try to take them one at a time, it throws me off a little bit when I have to slow down, right? It's really weird how our body works. Sancho is very good at slowing things down and kind of drawing people in. Same with Anthony when he was at Ajax. You face inward, you face forward, two different profiles, but I totally get what you're saying. The problem is Sancho's attitude. You can coach a lot of the stuff that Sancho can do and the way he plays. You just can't. You can't get rid of that attitude. It's hard. Danny B, he's English. Rajat played for England. Finn McAllister. Okay. Rajat says, no, don't rate Evan Ferguson. He's crap. You don't rate Evan Ferguson? All right. I mean, I don't think he's as good as the Brighton fans were hyping him up to be, but I think he's a good little striker. We'll see. There may also be a twist in the tale of Jadon Sancho's potential move to Juventus. So we've been talking to Juve about a move recently. United, Juve want a loan. We want a sale, or at least a loan with an obligation. His wages have been a sticking point, but now it sounds like Juventus have ended their pursuit of Sancho due to our demands, basically. There were talks of us splitting wages in different ways. We want, 40 million. That doesn't mean Sancho is necessarily staying at United, however, as Fabrizio Romano does believe maybe a deal could still happen before the end of the window if we lower our demands. I just don't know if we want to do that. I don't think it's a case of wanting to get anywhere near what we paid for him, because we're not going to. I just think that the 40 million, honestly, for me is a fair price to demand for Sancho. I don't want to have to suffer by losing money. I don't want to suffer by getting him to get what he wants, and I don't want to suffer by taking less money to get rid of him. This isn't a Scott McTominay thing where it's literally just about profit. This guy doesn't want to be here. He clearly hates it here. He's removed everything from United related from his social media posts. He put out that bullshit Instagram post the other day. Only thing you'll see all over his social media profile now is Dortmund stuff, even though they don't want him. But Darmesh Sheth with Sky Sports claims that Sancho's preference is actually to join Chelsea, which, hey, it is what it is. We were talking about that already today. You'd think like a normal human being, right, would be humbled by the fact maybe that Dortmund, as much as Dortmund twerked for him last season, they didn't come back for him. They don't want to pay for him. Juventus don't want to pay. G don't want to pay for him. I'm not trying to be mean, but you'd think that he'd be humbled by the fact and maybe just sit down and shut up and just try to work hard. But no, the dude's been a little shit since he returned from Dortmund. He's been a little shit since a year ago. Asif, welcome to the channel, my friend. Hi, what do you think of the idea that Carney from Chelsea may be part of the Sancho deal? We were talking about that a little bit, Danny B and I. I mentioned it earlier on the channel. I know some people have been kind of throwing it out there on social media. I haven't seen any like good sources talk about it at all. It was just one of those things that I threw out this morning when we were talking about Chelsea. Yeah, they want Sancho, but they want to include a player. And I'm like, well, I don't want Sterling. I don't want Chilwell. There's not many other players at Chelsea that I would take. Maybe a month ago I would have taken Chalobah, but we don't need him anymore unless Lindelof and Maguire left. Then yeah, I'd go get Chalobah. But right now we need midfielders. We needed midfielders this morning when McTominay left. We need midfielders now even more now with Mount being injured for the next month or so. So yeah, Chukwuemeka, I would definitely take. Sounds like you're on the same page. Danny's definitely on that same page. I don't want to have to throw in the youngsters very quickly, like Amas and Collier, but I don't know if we're going to have a choice if we don't have the money and we don't do anything before the window closes. But you guys let me know what you think. I don't know what's going on with Sancho. It's probably going to come down to the wire. I could go either way right now if I think we're going to get a player in before the window closes other than Ugarte. We do need a midfielder, but it is. Don't know much about the guy. Didn't he score against us not that long ago? Wasn't that last season? Let me know if you guys remember that. I don't watch a ton of Chelsea games. I kind of blacked out during that Chelsea game when they scored late to win it because nobody closed down Cole Palmer at the edge of the box, and that other penalty was some bullshit too. So that match was one of the worst refereeing displays I've ever seen, quite frankly. But it is what it is. Raja says, can't believe Ugarte is not officially confirmed, but okay. Yeah, I think, United, we want to make a huge deal of it. We want to get the piano and all that crap out. Hopefully we just get him registered in time for Liverpool. I'd like to see him at least on the bench because I think that he could do a job. I'd love for us to get up by a goal or so and then be able to bring him on just to tell him, like, you know what? Don't let that ball get into our final third. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care if you have to 2-foot the referee. Don't let that ball into the final third. We'll figure out the tactics over the weekend, but whatever it is. Danny says he's done well enough under Poch, just got a few injuries. Who hasn't, right? So moving on a little bit, United might also face competition, Danny, as we were talking earlier, for a young midfielder we've been interested in and linked with recently. So this is, of course, Norwegian youngster Sverre Nypan, who plays for Rosenborg. We've been linked to him recently. We've been interested. We're keeping tabs on him. But now apparently Arsenal have reportedly entered the race, according to journalist Christopher Mickle. Nypan, he's only 17. He'll be 18, I think, in December. He's already a mainstay in Rosenborg starting 11, though. Remember, we played Rosenborg in preseason. They were already a little ways into their season already. Their season starts a little differently than ours. But he's already got 5 goals, 5 assists in like 18 matches in their league this season. He also got a hat trick against Lillestrøm like a week ago. He got a hat trick in that match, earned him a man of the match nominee. Apparently he's a big United fan too. And, we always love it when these guys are United fans. It's surprising, when the players who are so young are United fans, right, too. So that's a big deal. According to Christopher Mikko, though, a summer move is not going to happen as Rosenborg are again well into their season. So probably not going to do anything this summer. But I think a good idea maybe is if he's interested, if we're open, sign him now and just loan him back to Rosenborg until like either January or next summer or whatever. A lot of teams do that. Chelsea did that with Pulisic as well. Liverpool have just done that with Georgi Marmarashvili, the Valencia goalkeeper, who I really like. That's not outside. This is how creative and things you can get if it means locking in a player like that, right? Danny says, Nightman is fired, bro. Rajat says, I am done with Rashford. Rashford is like, if you go watch that video from the other week, is this season a make or break season for Rashford? It was the whole point of that video was to talk about Rashford. This could be a big season for him. I did a similar video on Luke Shaw. Go check out that video. Rashford's going to need to show people something, or else I think he's, as much as he's a talisman, as much as he's on that new contract, as much as all the awards he won 2 seasons ago in Ten Hag's first season, if he doesn't deliver, if he doesn't change his attitude a little bit on and off the pitch, and if he doesn't like just get his head down and focus and try to work hard to tune out some of the noise and get the good people around him, Rashford could be moved on. So let me know. We know PSG is interested in him. Noah Good, who's Noah? You mean Naipan? Danny P. I hope he turns it around, but I can't see it, to be honest. All-around game, never good enough. Rashford, perhaps my biggest frustration with Marcus Rashford is that he's been playing pretty much Premier League, like starting 11 Premier League football for the better part of a decade now, like 7-8 years basically. And he still is making the same mistakes he was making as a young teenager. Just not getting his head up. Final ball is not great. Wrong option too many times. Too many touches, heavy touches. Trying to run through 3 defenders rather than maybe play the pass and moving just to create space and pull people out of position. Just the same kind of mistakes. And these aren't like skill mistakes, like your talent on the ball. It's all up here. It's all mental. It's all match IQ that he just doesn't have it. And he's not, I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm not saying he's a crap player. He just doesn't, again, it's all, you got to look at the manager and the system. When Rashford is forced to have to slow down and kind of incorporate a little more tactics into his game, he struggles. He did really well under Jose because he's played counterattack football. He did really well under Ollie because we played counterattack football. He did really well in Ten Hag's first season because in Ten Hag's first season, he didn't have the players that he needed, so we played more counterattacking football to Rashford's strength. That's why he had a great season. But now that we've gotten some tactical stuff in there, he's struggling a bit. And it is what it is. He could go, honestly, Rashford could go to Real Madrid right now and probably look really, really good because Carlo plays that counterattacking game. Again, it's just the way players are. Rajat, believe Sterling is a Man United fan. Everybody's a Man United fan, bud. Even if they don't say it, they're a Man United. Jack Grealish is a Man United fan. He conveniently deleted that social media post he put a while back when he was at Aston Villa when he put out a post that said Manchester is always going to be red, but now he's a City player. You wouldn't know that he's a City player because he doesn't really play anymore for him. Half the time he's hungover. He can't drive himself because his license revoked, and the other half the time Doku's playing. So it is what it is. Dan to be overrated because he's English. Talking about Rashford still. I think at United, we do love when we can take a good youngster like Rashford was and just kind of cling a lot of our hopes and a lot of our like club kind of image and profile to that. I'm not saying he's bad. It's fake. I'm just saying we love that at United. And maybe that's a bit of that kind of being forced into the situation or something. I don't know. But now that Manu is here, now that Garnacho's coming through and stuff, and now we're seeing the other young guys, the shine of Rashford is starting to like lose a little bit of its luster. And again, like I said before, when you got a new manager with these new tactics and you've got other players who are kind of raising the standards a little bit, the players who can't hang or who don't want to try, like Sancho, or who can't hang, like Rashford's case, they're going to stick out like sore thumbs, and they're going to be the ones that get pruned at the end of the summer. So Rajat says he was playing for that pay raise only. I see. This is, it's hard for me because we can speculate, but I don't want to try to judge what someone's thinking and something like that. So Rajat, he overcomplicates everything. Why? Because I think Rashford is just, he's good when he doesn't have to think a whole lot, when he can get the ball. Really, he doesn't even want the ball 2 feet necessarily. He wants the ball played into space that he can run into, and he wants nothing but grass in front of him. When Rashford has to stop, when he has to slow down, and that doesn't mean his feet, but he has to slow down in his head and like maybe think a little bit, he kind of gets in his own way. And it all starts to fall apart. And so it is what it is. We'll see what happens. He has an opportunity to kind of add a couple strings to his bow. We saw the other day that he and Rude had been staying late after regular training to put in extra time to work on all aspects of his game, not just shooting and finishing, but movement in the box, things like that. And so hopefully he's going to be taking that seriously. Hopefully he's humble enough and coachable enough, because that's one of the huge things as a player, no matter how old you are, you need to be coachable. I don't care if you're Cristiano Ronaldo at 37 or if you're Kobe Mainu at 17 and Garnacho at 17, 18. You need to be coachable. You need to be humble enough to realize that it's not about you. It's not. It's about the club. It's not about the manager. It's about the club. You play for the club. Patrice Evra said it perfectly on the overlap earlier. You play for the club, not the manager. You play for the club. So Naipan, good. Naipan supposedly is very good. I was reading off his stats here. Again, he's 17. Rosenborg have been in their season for a while now. This summer, they started a little earlier than we do, but he's a teenager, but he's already like a mainstay in their starting 11. He's featured in like 18, 19 league matches. He has 5 goals, 5 assists. He had a hat trick just a week ago against Lillestrøm. United fan. Doesn't sound like we're going to be able to get him this summer, right? Because they're in the middle of their season. But I think that a good option for us, if we're interested in him, is to get him and like loan him back to Rosenborg until their season's done, and maybe he can come in January. But let me know what you guys think of Naipan. Do you watch him? Danny B, I know Danny B likes him. I like him. I'm not going to pretend like I watch a ton of Rosenborg, but I do like what I see from him so far. Hit a like button if you guys like that we are kind of looking at these young players. If you guys know a lot about Naipan, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this youngster, because he comes very highly rated, just like Sekou Kone, just like Obi Martin. Have we finalized the deal for the kid from Palace too? What's his name? Lucille. Have we finalized that one yet either? I know that there was some talk about that. So Raja says have to play for yourself and then club. There might be some people who disagree with you on that one, my friend. I've seen some people call Naipan the next Martin Odegaard. I think it's probably one of those lazy journalism connections because he's Norwegian, he plays in a similar position, and he's young. Remember when Odegaard was first getting talked about, he was only like 15, 16, Real Madrid signed him. I hope that Naipan is not the next Martin Odegaard, because all that means is he's going to sign for a big club as a teenager. He's going to have an attitude problem. He's going to jump around on loan for a few years, and then he's going to captain Arsenal to fuck all while bottling the league twice in a row. That would be the next Martin Odegaard. Am I right? If you know, you know. And we don't need one of those. In other news, moving on, Rasmus Højlund is back in the gym and back training on the grass, albeit on an individual level, but he's back training. He's fully kind of in the training gear. He's running. He's doing whatever he's got to do. That's the positive takeaway. Probably won't see him in the matchday squad for a few more weeks, but at least he's back in training, right? We got to be able to celebrate the little things, right? Every step forward you want to celebrate, even if it's a tiptoe or a big giant leap, you celebrate it. That's what we do. And finally, for all you United fans who, like myself, were tremendous David Beckham fans growing up. Remember, United, when I was about 12, 13, 14, 15, that was back mid-90s, the height, the peak, the treble, the whole UK explosion for everything. That was when I really got into it. It was really hard to watch, Premier League football here back then. We didn't have apps. There was no streaming. If you had satellite and you had access, you were rich, or you knew somebody who was rich. It was difficult. But for any of you guys like myself who are David Beckham fans, he's featured in the most recent episode of the YouTube show Hot Ones. You guys ever watch Hot Ones on YouTube? basically they get a bunch of celebrities that come in and they go through all these really hot sauces and they eat these wings while they're talking and doing an interview and telling about, you know, their careers and stuff. But he was featured in the most recent episode. I was watching that earlier today. Go check it out. It's not as funny as some of the other episodes, but it's still good. It's definitely not as funny as Gordon Ramsay's. Definitely not as funny as the Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman one from last week. But Justin says I'm a savage. Not wrong, just a savage. But screw Arsenal. Yeah, you can't spell Arsenal without arse. Is my whole chestnut. So Raja, going to go watch Cristiano talk to Rio. You are more than welcome to. I'm not gonna lie, Cristiano has lost a bit of his shine for me after the whole Piers Morgan interview and the way he spoke about his teammates and Ten Hag. Say whatever you want about the club. Let's not all pretend and put Ronaldo on this pedestal for what he said about the ownership, because he didn't say anything we haven't already known for years. So let's not pretend he was some whistleblower in that regard. But you don't talk about your teammates like that. You don't talk about your manager like that. That's a big reason Roy Keane got sold in an interview that you won't see anymore because all the evidence of it has been taken off the internet. You don't do that. I don't care who you are. We can do a whole other video on Cristiano Ronaldo if you guys want to get into some DSM. You guys want to talk about Ronaldo, go look up a DSM-5 criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. And then we could have a serious conversation about Cristiano Ronaldo if you guys want to go that route. But yeah, I can't indulge Ronaldo anymore. I just can't. Same way I don't indulge Jose Mourinho. I don't indulge narcissists. That's why they become so severely narcissistic, is people indulge it. So you can go watch it, man. No one's going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm just not in the mood anymore. I don't have time for Ronaldo these days. So, Justin says worth it. The Cristiano Rio talk. I know you're a Ronaldo fan though, so it doesn't. You can't be trusted. So yeah, like I said, I read the other day that Cristiano Ronaldo just started a YouTube channel and it's got like a kajillion trillion subscribers already. And all I had to say to that was cool. Something Piers Morgan can watch at 2 a.m. with a bottle of lotion and a box of Kleenex next to his bed. That's all that is to me now. So it is what it is. I watch Rio's his 5 stuff when he talks with like Steve and Joel. I tolerate Joel because he's just a really bless him Joel Bea. He tries to make Arsenal relevant. Literally every time they talk, Joel's got to try to bring Arsenal into it somehow because that's the way Arsenal fans are. But it is what it is. But let me know what you guys think of the Hot Ones episode if you guys want to go watch it. Danny, maybe we can get Naipan over the line. Maybe if there's a deal to be done with Chelsea for Sancho, we can. If any player is coming our way from Chelsea, it needs to be a midfielder at this point. The only other player right now that I would take from Chelsea would be Cucurella, but I don't think that's going to happen. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Do you think we need a new midfielder now that Mount is injured and we still haven't really replaced McTominay? I think we could promote Collier and kind of rotate him on a limited basis for the time being in terms of that McTominay role, but we do need someone in midfield because otherwise we're going to have to go back to a 4-2-3-1. And we know that that's not what Ten Hag really wants to do now. So he's either going to have to try to force someone else to play the role that Mount was playing, or we're going to have to go back to the 4-2-3-1, basically. So Justin says, it gives Ronaldo a different light. He is for sure a narcissist, but it gives you depth as to why he is what he is, discussed with Rio. Do we really want to take the word of a narcissist talking about themselves as like that's the thing. Like, why if you meet the criteria for a narcissist, I can't take because narcissism, they gaslight, they hold themselves in such high regard to where it becomes almost like a lofty, delusional kind of self-image kind of thing. Again, we can get into it, but again, once someone really does start to meet the criteria for narcissism, you just can't really take what they say very seriously anymore. You almost can't trust it. There's almost always a hidden layer under there of just malingering, of just this lofty kind of delusion mindset, and you just can't trust it. So Justin says Sancho needs to leave, but rather they try trading with or he's not going to Real. It's not going to happen. If we want anybody from Real Madrid, I'll take Dani Ceballos right now as a Mason Mount replacement. Of course, I'll take a lot of Madrid players, but right now we need a midfielder, we need a left back, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys are thinking right now. What do you think of Mason Mount's injury? is this kind of last chance loon? I know it's hard to say it's last chance loon for Mason Mount because he really is. It's only his second. He's entering his second year as United, but he missed 27 matches last season because of injury. We paid a lot of money for him. We could have gotten a center back last summer, which is really what we needed. We decided to prioritize Mount, and this is why I said in my other video that Ten Hag needs the hope this Mason Mount experiment works out, because Ten Hag is the one who pushed for him. Ten Hag is the one who gave him that 7 shirt, who prioritized that kind of stuff, who clearly has plans for him. I don't get that. Some people will speculate and say that that was a Glazer signing, getting another young English midfielder in. Who knows? We know that Ten Hag likes Mount. He tried to sign him on loan at Ajax back when Mount was on loan at Vitesse when he was coming up through the Chelsea ranks. So we know that he likes Mason Mount. So what happened behind that decision is anyone's guess. Ten Hag is the one who's going to be on the hook for it regardless. It's just the way football works, whether it was his decision or not. Rajat says, not good reasoning after one event. It's only one interview, though. Which interview are you talking about? The Rio one or the Piers Morgan was? Because those are very different interviews, my guy. Rajat says, Man United gave him number 7, not Eric. I mean, from what I remember from the reports were that Eric Ten Hag was a very significant influence in that. He called him. He basically convinced him. And from what I remember from the reports when we signed Mount, it was Eric Ten. At least the report said it was Eric Ten Hag's decision to kind of push and give him that number 7 shirt in an effort to get him, convince him to join the club. That's what I remember off the top of my head. You guys are more than welcome to go look that up if you want to dig that up from over a year ago. But that is what I remember sticking out in my memory. But you guys let me know. But I do know that Eric Ten Hag really likes him. I just don't know why we gave him. There's no need to give him the 7 shirt. It really wasn't. 7 shirt is something that you need to earn. It's not something you should just be given, in my opinion. But what are you going to do? So, Justin, yeah, Bex is on Hot Ones. Yeah, that episode just came out. It was either yesterday or today. I watched it earlier before I went live. So, interesting. It's kind of boring. Honestly, David Beckham, as far as personalities go, he's kind of boring. Even Rooney, in my opinion, is more funny than David Beckham and just more like engaging to interact with. So Rooney was on that episode of The Overlap with Evra earlier, and Rooney's hilarious. Peter Crouch, hilarious. If you've ever listened to anything Peter Crouch does, doesn't he have a podcast, I believe, as well? So not all footballers are funny guys. It just is what it is. So what do you guys have? Anything left to say? You guys going to be watching the Europa League draw. I know the Champions League draw took place today, and I'm trying to wrap my head around the way it looks. The way they have it laid out to show you the pots and everything is really strange, but it took me a couple seconds to realize, okay, that's what that means. So we'll see what that draw looks like tomorrow for the Europa League. Who qualified finally? I forgot to check the scores again. I was planning to watch some of those matches, but then I got sidetracked with other stuff. Who qualified? Okay, so RFS, Ludogorets Razgrad, Elfsborg. That sounds like someone from Lord of the Rings. Ajax, Anderlecht, Besiktas. Who's that? FC, SB. I don't even why. Why would you name your club that? Victoria Plzen, Ferencváros, Braga. Braga, good job there. PAOK, Thessalonikas, and then Maccabi Tel Aviv. So basically a lot of Wi-Fi passwords qualified for the Europa League. This is what I'm getting at here. So what that means for us is a lot of crazy travel. Remember when we had to go to Istanbul, Besiktas here, when we had to go to what are some other random teams that we had to play in the Europa League and the Champions League the last few years? We went to some cold places. Lask, I remember we went to Lask. Was that the match that Igalo got that beautiful goal in? You guys remember that goal? That was in lockdown, wasn't it? I remember it looked like it was cold and like the pitch looked like it was basically made out of cement. That's how cold it was. Azerbaijan, yep, I remember that. So we're going to get the draw tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. Again, like I spoke about earlier today, breaking that down. 36 teams instead of 32. We are in pot 1. We are seeded because we won the FA Cup. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, who you guys want in the Europa League. I want another crack at Galatasaray personally. I wouldn't mind seeing us go and face off against Jose Mourinho sometimes. I do like sometimes a little bit of the revenge games and stuff. Anybody you don't want to come up against in the Europa League? And another Greek club, says Rajat. So let me know what you guys want in the comments. If you're not able to catch the live, who are you looking forward to facing in the Europa League? Who do you want to avoid? And let me know what you think from there. But that's going to do it for me. Please don't forget that the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. We're going to come back tomorrow with our match preview ahead of Liverpool-ish. It's still tentative. I'm still waiting to get this press conference from Ten Hag, so hopefully it'll happen tomorrow. And then please don't forget to come back Saturday for our show. We're going to be rating the transfer window. We're going to be doing our expectations for the season, and then we're going to chat a little bit about the Liverpool game. Justin in the chat right now, he will be joining me on Saturday for that one. So be ready with your expectations. Be ready with your transfer window opinions. Be ready with any questions or comments you might have for myself or my boy Justin when he's here. And we will go from there. But that is going to do it for me, you guys, because I am exhausted and my eyebrows are still sweating from that Kamehameha ramen bowl that I made myself for dinner. So I'm going to go get some more water. I'm going to go relax and enjoy my evening. I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with some news to talk about in the morning. It might be Ugarte Day tomorrow. It might not. We'll see. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But until then, enjoy your evening, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for everybody who stopped by. Danny, Rajat, Justin. Who else stopped by tonight? I want to say Asif. Is that a name? Asif. Thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate the guy. Usman, good to see you again, my friend. Justin, why are you laughing at me? I will see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you later. Have a good one.